This is a 71 Kenworth W925. It was bought new in Butte, Montana. It was a lowboy truck, and Ole and I and a couple of my boys went and picked it up last summer in Whitehall, Montana, so it hadn't got too far from home. It was just a cab sitting on a frame and no engine, transmission, or rear ends in it were, I don't know if they were any good or not. They were gear drill though, so we took them out right away. We brought it home and we were going to build a long hood A model is what the plan was. So there was a fellow bought it, he was going to restore it, and he just kind of decided he didn't have time, so he'd stretched the frame on it and gutted the truck, and that's kind of where it sat for about 20 years, as far as that's my understanding anyway.
Well, I started getting paid to do it in 1963. Before that, I did it for nothing on the farm, you know, so I do a little ranching, but this is my passion, trucking. It's a terrible life, but a good living in Montana, so good way to make a living. There aren't too many other ways out there, so. But anyway, I've loved the industry, and I love these young guys that are getting into it. I had a lot of help when I was young, and I think it's payback. I met this kid when he was about knee-high, well, come up to my hip. His mother used to bring him and his brother to our church, and I was a greeter at the front door, and he'd always shake my hand, and then later on he somehow found out I was in these trucks, and he started taking interest in that, so he's been just kind of a follower for me, so. But he's got the attitude that I want to encourage. I ran over the road for 30-some years and then hauled gravel for 20 years. So I sold my gravel stuff to him, put on his truck, and I went back to just flatbed and local, kind of regional. I got a semi-retirement job for an old man, so 1,000 miles a week.
And you got a big smile. That must be a good gig.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's small town stuff, short runs, and home every other night now.
Well, I bought it to build it, to put it to work. I've got a couple other old trucks that we work, a 66 and a 79, and I just thought this one would fit with them. I liked the truck. I'd been wanting a long hood. We haul gravel in the summer and hay in the winter and lowboy, and just mostly regional stuff. We bought this truck in August last year. My son Keith and Max went along with you and I, and we went and got it, and I guess I'd always wanted to come to one of these truck shows, and I felt like, well, maybe I could build a truck worth bringing to one, and I was trying to talk you into coming, and you'd already been to one, so you weren't interested. Anyway, then my little boy Max he took after it, and he wanted to come to this show bad, so he'd go find the brochure for this show, and he kept bringing it up and harassing us about it. And anyhow, we were busy working, so we didn't do anything with this truck. It just sat in the yard, and we hadn't done any fixing on it at all. And anyway, here March 1st, my 5-year-old boy that wanted to go to this show so bad, he fell off a bench in my shop, and he died one day when I was down in Idaho hauling hay. And anyhow, he just a freak accident, and so anyway, that made it pretty hard to look at this truck after that, or even consider coming. So then, I don't know, we just kind of decided that we ought to do it in honor of him. We were kind of plumb run out of time by then, but I got a couple of guys, well, several guys. Ole's son Chad helped me, and a fella named Shane Bocall brought his 2 sons, and man, they were hard at work for a whole week on this thing. And anyway, on 10 days we threw it together, and it certainly isn't finished, but it made what, 870 miles down here, I guess. So it's, it sort of brought it down in honor of my son Max.
Ollie, do you turn some wrenches on this deal?
Oh yeah, yeah. Not as much as the young fellas, because I can run a skid steer to lift an engine in. That's about, you know, but
He called one day. He was a little sick, and he says, "Well, I don't know if I can come down." And then he says, "You guys got beer?" So he was good help too.
All right, well, at least he knows how to ask the right questions.
yeah,
That's right.
Well, I didn't want them to stop for running out of beer, so they had to keep going.
Right. That's very considerate.
Yeah.
of you.
Well, we put that on there in honor of my son Max. This is a long hood A model, and anyway, he called it the long neck, like long-necked dinosaur. So we put a long-necked dinosaur on the side of the hood to memory of him.
I went to Yakima on 13. And that was it for me. This time of year we're just swamped. We have a lot of seasonal work too, so all winter long you're hungry, and then when the gravy comes, you run for it. So, but it's a great setup.
I've never been to a truck show at all. I can think of just local hometown car shows and stuff once in a while, but this is the first. So it's just kind of a beautiful thing to get all these people together with a common interest, and you know, I've got to meet people from around the country that enjoy old trucks, whether it be driving them or just looking at them. Or
when you're walking around, you'll see so many fathers and sons, and that's great. You think that's gonna lead them boys into the industry, hopefully. And then you see people from town that don't know anything about trucks bring their kids in and walk around. They know very little about it, but then they start asking questions. And you know of the driver shortage we have, so if there's a chance that any of them become interested, I think that's great. And that this organization, without it, I think the image of truckers would be worse than it is. You know, I think this is what we need, a lot of this kind of stuff to make the general public realize when they come into one of these shows that there's a camaraderie, and not all truckers are somebody to stay away from, you know. So, but I appreciate the ATHS for bringing that out, and then the amount of work that's involved with volunteers and stuff. And at the national level, those people, they got to be saints to go through the rigmarole to put up a show like this, or anywhere else they go. I think down the East Coast, that last one was 1,400 trucks. That's unreal. Here we have, I think it was 900 and some trucks, 960 as of last night, I guess. So, but what a great deal. Love it.